Welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, passionate, inspirational speaker, author, poet, and entrepreneur. Good morning, and welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm delighted that you joined me this morning. Today is Wednesday, March 21st. I want to give a big thank you to those of you who are listening all around the world today. I'm delighted and so grateful that you tuned in. I sure hope you're enjoying a fabulous day and that you're having a fantastic week, because you know what? In the grand song of the universe, life is so short. It's short, sweet, and oh so precious. So, I hope you're making a difference in your own life, because when you do, you also make a difference in someone else's life. Now, a lot of folks want to make their life count for something, and they ask me, Dr. Gloria, how do you do that? Well, it's very simple, very simple. You make your life count day by day, step by step, moment by moment, every single day, 365, 24/7. That's what Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count is all about. You can learn more about Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. That's Gloria, B as in boy, URGESS.com. That's the Gloria Burgess website. Gloria, B as in boy, URGESS.com, or by visiting Facebook, and that's facebook.com/Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. Now that's all smushed together. Doctor is Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD /. Okay, so today I want to talk with you about one of my favorite topics, and that's daring to wear your soul on the outside. Daring to wear your soul on the outside. Now, some people call it daring to live out loud, right? So specifically, I'm going to focus on a person who stepped up, who said, you know, I want more out of life. I want to be more, I want to know more, and I want to serve more. I want to dare to wear my soul on the outside. That's essentially what this person was saying. Now, I hope that this story about this amazing person who has transformed her life will inspire you as it has inspired me. And if you are inspired, I want to share more about how you too can make the same kind of shift in your own life. Later in today's program, I will share some resources with you so you can do exactly that. You can equip yourself to make the kind of difference in your own life that you will hear about in this inspiring story that I'm going to share with you later today. So once again, folks, today's focus is dare to wear your soul on the outside. It's all about living out loud. So, what time is it? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It's time to sit back and relax, make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, or get a nice tall glass of water, put your feet up, relax in your favorite chair, and don't forget your pen and notepad, because you're going to want to take notes today. We're going to have a fabulous time. Now, before I jump into today's show, I just want to take a moment to welcome you if you're just joining us. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining my show, or if you're joining Talk Network Radio for the very first time. Let me tell you, you are in for a real treat. I'm excited to have you listening in today, and I'm deeply honored that you've allowed me to be part of your day so you can be inspired by the ideas and resources to make your life count. Now, today's program is all about daring. Daring to wear your soul on the outside, or daring to live out loud. Now, this is a very important topic. Why is that? Well, we all want to enjoy our life, right? And we want to live the life we love. We want to live a life of joy and service. One of my favorite poets, Muriel Rukeyser, reminds us that the world is not made up of atoms. The world is not made up of atoms. So, if it's not made up of atoms, what is it made of? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It's made up of stories. I just love that, don't you? It's made up of stories. Now, let's just think about that for a moment. No matter where you live in the world, you hear stories, right? You hear stories from the time you're born. You hear stories as a babe in arms, stories told around the dinner table or around the hearth, stories when you go to school, stories in the lunchroom, on the playground, in the hallways, stories when you're ready to leave school, when you're ready to go to college maybe, right? And then when you apply to college, they ask you to share stories about why you want to go there and what you hope to accomplish. Then once you arrive, you hear stories about the college or university, and then more stories as you move through your studies and into the workplace. And once you have a job, you hear story after story after story. Now, stories are a very big part of our lives. In fact, they're so much a part of our lives, sometimes we don't even realize the presence or the potency or the power that they actually have in our life. Did you know that stories are how we make meaning, how we make sense of our world? That's right. Stories help us chart and navigate the many, many waters of our lives. They actually help us as we move through the many moments, hours, and days of our lives. You know what else? In many cultures all over the world, stories are actually thought of and even revered as medicine. Yes, stories are considered to be medicine. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, let's take a look. Stories are referred to as medicine because they help to ground us. And when we lose our way, as we often do in our fast-paced world, stories help us, they enable us to come home. They help us to come back. They help to realign us with who we are, to come back into harmony with who we are, and come back into harmony with whose we are, with who we belong to. That's so good, isn't it? I just love that. And it's so important in our lives. So stories are medicine that help ground us, and they help us come home, come back into harmony with who we are and with whose we are. Stories help to heal us, right? Healing in the sense of making us whole. Now, this is true whether we're talking about an individual person, a person like you or me. It's also true if we're talking about a whole family, a community, or maybe we're talking about a team at work, okay, or an entire organization. Just a couple of days ago, I was with one of my clients, and our specific focus was on team building, right? And guess what? The resources we used for team building, the resources that we used to get us from here to there were stories. That's right, stories. In other words, what needed to be surfaced, meaning what needed to be surfaced and made visible to all so that we could discuss them, were the stories that lived inside of each member of the team. So we surfaced the stories so that the team could be intentional, about becoming the best team possible, to put their best foot forward, so to speak, to do their best in serving their stakeholders. Now, the team I was with was a group of doctors. And their stakeholders? Well, they were the patients and the families of their patients, as well as other doctors and nurses and physician assistants and so many more. Now, the same is true no matter what kind of professional team or group I'm working with. I mean, it could be a team of teachers. It could be a team of attorneys, marketers, administrators, stockbrokers, civic leaders, artists. Doesn't matter. The common ground is found in their stories. The common ground is surfaced through their stories. And their vision of who they want to become is told as a story. So as I said earlier, stories are powerful, powerful medicine. It's actually been said that stories are small doses of what matters. And it is in the telling of the stories that's so important. Now, why is that? Because the telling is what releases the medicine. It is the telling that gives us that small dose of what matters. It's the telling that soothes our pain and shares and amplifies our joy. Now that's really good. So I'm going to repeat it, okay? Get your pen ready, okay? Write this down. It is in the telling that releases the medicine. It gives us that small dose of what matters. It is in the telling that soothes our pain and shares and amplifies our joy. Now, in the language Kiswahili, the words habari gani mean what's the news or what's happening now. So in the next little while, I will share with you a small dose of what's happening now, of what matters in the lives of ordinary people, including some of the people who are very close to me. In fact, I want to share one particular story with you today. And this story that I will share breathes the timeless, universal truths of what I call the 7 sacred promises. They are truths that mentor us in ways of being that are older than time. Truths that breathe just beneath the surface of our ever-busy lives. They are truths that when we make them visible in our life, we can actually draw on them with conscious intention to shape our daily choices, actions, and decisions. So, what are the 7 sacred promises? They are gratitude, faith, love, vision, integrity, creative action, and legacy. Now, you hear me talk about these sacred promises every week on this show in one way or another. Today you will hear more about these sacred promises through this inspiring story that I'm going to share with you. The story begins with a small dose of what matters. And it's taken from some of the big themes in one of my poems. And that poem is called Song to Myself.